So anyway, I thought today, and I hope everybody did their homework. How many did their homework? Raise their hands. There's a homework person. Zaki, Yusuf, oh yes, there's a homework. Did you all do the homework? Because, you know, it's really, for you all not to prepare, it means we've got to start from zero every time rather than have a discussion, you know, so it would be very good if people actually did the homework. So what we're going to do today is two things. I think what's important about our group is that we're not just reading the stories together. We are actually talking like the grown-ups that we all are from ages. Who's the youngest one? Is 8 years old the youngest, or do we have younger than 8? Anybody younger than 8? Then we are 8 to nearly 80. So we span a good group. And of course, you know, we always go back to what are we doing here? And remember that what is the true meaning of life? And we're all in it. It doesn't matter what age you are. The true meaning of life is somehow we are already our beautiful golden hearts. We are all, our innate goodness is there, but it just gets dust on it. It's the golden heart. And so what we have to do with our life is make sure that all that dust is polished off, and so that it reflects Allah perfectly. And we've got a lot to work with, and Imam al-Ghazali is showing us how to do that. And it's extremely important. And you all, we have studied, remember, in the book of knowledge, what the jihad al-nafs is, how the 3 selves work. Everybody here knows that. They understand that, that we have the mutma'inna, which is our golden heart. It's who we really are. And then we have the low waswisu of the lower self, the lower nafs, right? And then we have the wonderful good thoughts that come from the angels. And they're telling us all the time, do the right thing, right? And then of course there's the struggle. But what we're trying to learn with this project that we're doing together is to get in the habit of like following the good thought immediately that's being sent to us, you know, from our highest self. And so that's what life is about, learning to do this and doing it together and having a good time. So I thought today we're going to go through 2 aspects of the month of Ramadan, and we're going to let everybody talk about from their hearts how they can manage to take care of these issues. All right. The first thing is, children, are you all aware that your parents are giving zakat in this month, that we give generously? Are all the young people aware of that, that their parents are assessing themselves and giving money? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You all know this?
Yes.
I guess children don't give from money, but they can give from other parts of their being. What children are some ways you all could give and be generous?
Auntie Aisha,
Yes.
Zach and I started giving money to the guy, like, I think 2 years ago.
Good. Do you earn that money yourself?
Well, basically, well, we do the dishwasher.
That's it.
Like a lot of times, well, you don't get money for that. Like the last time we got money was a long time ago, but we used to get £3 every Friday. So
that's your allowance, right?
We used to do that. I think we're trying to start up again, but
yeah, when I was,
but we still get money.
Good, because you know that's also helpful because we see people all the time who are in need. So let's start out with the zakat story, which is in your books, and I'll review it, and then we're going to talk about some of the qualities. All right, zakat also means, it's interesting, it has also, do you know if you have a flower or a tree and you prune it, then it grows better and more? Have you ever noticed that? Maybe your mothers have done that. You have a tree or a plant and then you cut it a bit, you prune it. So zakat also means if you prune your wealth, it goes out and grows better. It's a wonderful thing, and it's a purifier. So remember the story of the children. They're children who are on a merry-go-round, and they notice that there's some other children that don't have enough to even any small change to ride on the merry-go-round. And so these children, this is the story from Zakat. Then these children are on their way to see Hajj Abdullah in the magic garden, and they pull the vines of the leaves back, the beautiful flowering plants, and they go in, and he's sitting inside on his stump, and there's some foxes coming and some squirrels and spiders, and they rush up to Hajj Abdullah and they say, why are some people rich and some people poor? Have any of you ever had that thought? Have you ever wondered? You have. Yeah, you're right. And they also saw an old man. He was with his hands, he was begging, he was at the gate, and he was saying, Lillah, Lillah. So they mentioned this to Hajj Abdullah, and Hajj Abdullah said, when somebody reaches out to you, and that could be even your brother or sister is sad and they need your attention. When someone reaches out for you for money or for help or for love or being present to them, you don't want to disappoint them, do you? Would you ever disappoint someone reaching out to you? No. And so Hajj Abdullah explained, when the beggar is saying li la, he's saying li means in Arabic for the sake of God, li for God, and li also means it already belongs to God, right? So this is very, very important. It already belongs to God. And so Hajj Abdullah gives them a little money, and they go and give it to the man. They don't disappoint them. And then they come and sit down, and Hajj Abdullah says, you know, Zaki, Yusuf, you know, Zoya, let's say, Danielle, all these children that are all of us, mothers and fathers, Farhana, Haldun, me. Did any of us give ourselves who we are in time and space? Did we give ourselves who we are, our skills, who our mothers and fathers are? Did we give ourselves any of these things? Somebody answer.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, it's from Allah, right? He's given you everything. So let me ask you, if you go out and you use some of your good skills to do something, can you take credit for that? Not really, because you see, it's what Allah gives each one of you, everybody, is like on loan. Did you ever lend somebody something? And then you have to give it back, don't you, if you borrow something from someone? Did any of you ever lend someone something, a toy or something, and get it back?
Yeah, there was this one time when I lended my friend like a mouse for his computer, and yeah, I got it back.
You got it back, right? But you know, because exactly, but so when Allah lends you your skills or your friends or your place in time and space, it's a loan, but it's not just a loan, it's a trust. He's entrusting us with our lives. He's entrusting each one of you with who you are, your strengths, your skills, your fun, your abilities. So these are to be used, these are to be given back in some way. So in other words, somebody said to me, oh, you know, you must be so proud and happy that you did the children's project for the Ghazali, that you did it. Do you think I did it? No. Where do you think I was given interest in Ghazali? I was given a love of his works. I was given scholars who know how to translate it because of the work I do. I was given the desire to do something for young people and for ourselves. Do you think I didn't give myself any of those things? I didn't even give myself the interest in this. So when it came, it was a good thought, right? So it's giving back. I'm giving back what I've been given, right? It's been on loan to me, and it's not me giving it back. It's just going through me. And remember how we studied the last chapter in the Book of Knowledge, how we are all like straight trees. We're all teachers by what we do. So it's not just your mother and father are to be role models. We all have to be role models for each other by doing all of this as correctly as we can. So then there is the story of the two ways to give, the bad way to give and the good way to give. Now we've got to be giving, right? We're giving who we are and what our qualities are. And so the first story is a man who, there's a king. What does the king stand for? Who is the king? Al-Malik.
Sarah, do you want to go ahead?
So he's meant to be really kind and generous,
Mhm.
and he gives a lot of his money to different like people who are in need, because people don't have to ask him for something they need because he already knows what they need and he gives it to them.
That's brilliant, because that's Allah. Of course, we know that one of the names of Allah is the king. And exactly, he knows what you said it exactly. He knows what we need and he gives it to us. Isn't that something? That's really beautiful. Well, in the story, there's a king and he goes to a rich man who has lands and fields and animals and fruit. And he says, there's a poor family in town, take them food. Does anyone know what happens next in the story? Yes, Sarah.
Is it that I'm not completely sure, but is it that so he goes to them and with the food, but so he raises it really high to make them, and it's like, look how rich I am, and
Yeah.
gives it to them. But whilst he does it, he makes them feel really bad and makes them think, like we're not as wealthy as them. We don't have as much. Yeah. So
Yes.
we don't have as much plentiful food as him, and it makes them feel really bad, and it's really sad.
Oh, you've got the story exactly right. And so that sometimes people go and they give things, but the person feels low. Like, let's say there's someone, a homeless person in the street, and you go and you give down to him. Oh, here, take this, right? And you're feeling you are giving down to him, like as if you're the one giving, you see? So that's a terrible way to give, to make a person feel like needy or begging, right? And all you're doing, as you said, Sarah, all you're doing is sharing what is on loan to you, it's not even yours. So then, do you know the story? These people keep phoning. I'm going to turn it off. Oh, I'm awfully sorry here. So did you know that, for example, the other story is the king or Allah. He goes to, there's a man who was an orphan, and then this orphan learned money from his parents. And the king went to him and said, there's a poor widow in town, right? She wants to educate her children. She needs money. So do you know what happened next, Sarah, in that story?
Yeah. So the man, he has some money, and so he goes up to her, but he like goes on his knees and like puts his hand like lowered or something, so that it's like she's the one giving to him.
That's right.
And it's also like she's giving him blessings.
Mhm.
Like by her taking it, it's like she's giving him blessings. So that's why he says something about, you're the one who's actually giving to me, because it's actually more rewarding to like, get the blessings from someone.
Yeah, you've said it exactly. That makes me cry, really. He goes to her and he goes low and he puts the plate of gold low and he looks up into her face and he says, oh, blessed lady, not you poor beggar, I beg you to receive what I bring on behalf of the king, God, right? In order that I may fulfill my loan, my debt, exactly, my debt. Mhm. And this is entrusted to me. So what's going on here is, you can say for 10 minutes, she got the money and she educated her children. But what did the man get for what happened to the man by doing it, by giving that way?
Yeah, so he got the blessings.
Yes, exactly. So you see, there are two ways to give, because we've got to give. And then, of course, what happens? There are many things, qualities we have to learn to be. One of the most important qualities is humility. Does anyone know what humility means, to be humble?
It means, I think it means that you have to kind of be modest and not arrogant about the things you have, because the only reason you have them is because God decided for you to have them, and that's for the best. So you should always stay humble about that.
That's right. And like, what's the opposite? What are things you can do which is the opposite of being humble?
Like being, I guess you can, I don't know the exact word of it, but I know how to describe it. It's like when you're, for example, when you get 100 on your test, bragging is the
That's
word.
it.
You brag to your friends that you've got 100 whilst they've got like maybe an 80.
Yeah, but Hisham got it. People go out and brag and boast, I did this. That's the opposite of being humble, because what you're bragging about, you didn't even give yourself. You didn't even give yourself the intelligence to get the great grade on the thing. You did. So why are you taking credit for something that you didn't even, that isn't even yours, right? So it's important to be humble all the time. None of us like people who brag, do we, or show off, right? So humility is really an important thing. Any other of you young people or parents give an example of a time you can be humble rather than show off? Yes, Sarah.
Well, I remember one time that in my class we were doing like these tests, and so some children their parents didn't really like focus too much on the education part, so they got quite lower scores, and others they got really high scores. So so what we were doing is every child just kept their score to themselves, and they'd only tell their parents, but they wouldn't tell anyone else because they wouldn't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
That is a wonderful example of humility. That's beautiful. That's really good. All right, some of you others think of
So
something.
we have
you can do it. Bilal?
Bilal, Zoya, Zara, Danielle.
Okay, let's do one at a time. Something you
Bilal,
can do.
Bilal first.
Okay, Bilal, what can you do to be humble? An example.
So last week was my testing week at school. So we'd have like 2 tests every day. And I have this friend, Jack, and he's really smart. So he would always finish first. And he definitely had the option of going like, I finished first, like I'm smarter than all of you. But instead, he was very humble about it. And like we do the tests on these Chromebooks. And so like I bet like a boastful person would like slam the Chromebook closed and be like, I'm done. But instead Jack like lightly closed the Chromebook and started reading. And I think he's just a very humble and nice person.
Beautiful. You see how we like people like that? Okay, there are 3 other people that are going to talk about humility.
Zoya next.
If, for example, you get a new phone and it's the newest one, rather than saying, oh, look at me, I've got the newest phone, you have a really old one, haha. You don't have to say that. You can just, you don't have to say anything at all. And that's that's something that I think a lot of our teachers have said to us, because now we, like me, Sarah, Yusuf, and Zach, we're all in the year where we walk to school ourselves, so we have our own phones. So yeah.
That's really good. We have to hide things like that. Like if I when I was young, I used to get a new dress or a great bag, and I realized, why would I want to make someone else wish they had it? Envy, to cause someone to envy by showing off. It's really a terrible thing. And yet, don't you find people are just doing it all over the place? My father has a better car than yours. people are constantly involved in showing off, and it's very unfair because they didn't give themselves even the wherewithal to do that, you know, and they're taking credit for it. That's a very good example. Other examples?
Zara's next.
So normally at Eid, and at literally any other time, because my mom hasn't gotten a lot of my sister's very big things because she's been like putting her foot down. She kind of broke with me. And my sisters sometimes expect me to boast whenever I get anything, but I just don't. I just sit down and play with it. And I asked if they wanted to play with me once, and sometimes they said the dolls that freaks them out. So
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you, Zara. Next.
We'll go to Danielle next and Haldoon.
Okay. Yeah, parents are good here too. All right. Danielle?
Yeah, so basically, in year 6, we had like PE sets, and that would kind of imply if you were good at sports or bad at sports. And at the time, at the start of year 6, I was in the lower area. So me and my friend, we were both really like encouraging each other. So like after every week, they'd announce if people were going up or down. And we kept on encouraging each other that one of us was going to get in and one of us wasn't. So I was like, oh, you're going to get in. I'm not. It's really sad. And we both said that for like a week or so. And then what happened in the end was we both ended up moving up. And it felt really cool because you're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, wonderful. Because it feels good, doesn't it? You know?
Yeah.
We all know, we've talked about this. If you feel good about something you've done, it was good. And if you feel bad, it wasn't. Like sometimes people brag. I mean, you hear adults getting together and they're all talking about where their travels have been and how great their kids are. Maybe, my child, got into the best university. And really that's making not only making the other person feel bad, but that showing off it's not your real self doing it. It's the lower self in action, you see, showing off. And, I'm having to tell you all, it's really hard not to show off and talk about what you have and do and are, because that's what people do in our society today, right? It's so sad, but they're also not even aware of the importance of being humble. And it's key, because remember, in the end, if we want the polished heart, it's not full of stuff. It's empty, All right, someone else was going to speak. Was it Haldoon going to talk about himself, or who was it?
Yeah.
Haldoon, and then Rima, and then the other Zara.
All right.
Yeah, this is about myself. Even though like I don't say, sometimes when it comes to my heart and I feel in my heart, so it is not direct show off with the verse or with the attitude, but it's in heart. And I think that's the biggest challenge. And I don't know how to do it. I mean, I try in a way, but it's not easy.
Yeah, we keep forgetting, don't we? We keep forgetting, but you know what? At a certain point, what we're all doing, everybody, is by talking about this and trying to do it in our lives, we're starting to practice who we already are. The golden heart is who we already are. We don't feel good doing all these little edgy things, jacking up our nafs, It's true, Haldoon. We're all trying, Who else? Any other mothers?
So we have Rima. I don't know if it's Rima or her daughter.
Hi, it's me, her daughter, Adina. I just wanted to talk about my best friend. She's actually very rich, and she's also very humble. So, for example, when I go to her house after school, she gives me her clothes to like wear and borrow, and like she never asks for them back. So she's really humble in that way. Or like she gives me her jewelry, and she's very humble.
That's beautiful. You see, we love humble people, because whatever is gone, if you're empty of your own, nafs and all of its wants, there's what goes into that empty space is Allah's presence, right? And what do we all love in each other? Allah's presence. And we know it through his names. We love generosity. We love mercy. We love humility. These are all the 99 names being exposed in ourselves. So, I mean, it's really hard to do, but we're going to give it a chance. Thank you, Rima. That was brilliant. Thank you.
That was Adina. Sorry, can I just say some things, or Sister Aisha?
Yes.
So I mean, I'm learning with these kids. This is beautiful. This is how, like, we're learning to detach ourselves, isn't it, from the materialistic world, and even things which, like things which we think we're boasting ourselves. We're doing good things sometimes without realizing, and we're talking about them without realizing that, we can make other feel a little bit low by saying that. But it's that constant watching what we're doing, what we're saying, so that it doesn't hurt others. It doesn't hurt. We're not boosting ourselves, and we are constantly in the awe that it all belongs to Allah. So thank you for the reminder.
Thank you for saying that. I mean, it's really something, what we're going through. We're trying just to be who we already are. Isn't that something? Just to stop these bad habits that society is involved with, So we've talked here now about humility, but there's two other amazing, important qualities of character we're learning at the same time. Let's say you see somebody who's in need, right? And you humbly give to them. But what's happening too is you are being merciful when you see somebody in need, and you're being generous, right? So maybe a few people will talk about moments where they have seen something or someone in need. It could even be a sister or a mother, and ways that they have been able to be generous and merciful toward that person. Let's have a few ideas on that.
Sister Aisha, we had two other hands up previous.
Go back to, let's do them then. Let them speak. Yes, of course.
So we had the other Zara from New York, and then we have Fizza, I think.
All right, go ahead.
Zara, would you like to go first? I think your hand was up before mine.
Oh, okay, yeah. So my friend, she used to brag all the time, and I felt so bad for myself. And then once I told her, she felt so sorry for me, and now she's like now humble. But sometimes she only brags if it's something like not that cool.
Excellent. Very good observation. Very good.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. So I just want to pick up, Sister Aisha, you said, when Zoya mentioned someone's got a fancy phone or handbag or whatever, and that's where we're going, I've got the phone, I've got the handbag, whatever. And you said, it's good to hide these things. I've always sort of thought of it in that way, partly to protect yourself. We're very fortunate, alhamdulillah. We've got lovely houses, we have lovely opportunities, we've got lovely things, alhamdulillah, that we're very lucky to have, and not everyone has that. We also are very lucky to have these lessons, so we know about the good polished heart, we know that envy isn't good, jealousy is, but not everyone knows that or thinks that. So if you are out there saying, I've got this, I've got that, you don't know what's in someone else's heart, and the last thing you want is to bring anyone's envy or jealousy or bad wishes or evil eye on you, which is why humility is actually, it's a way of protecting yourself from all that negative energy and the evil eye.
You brought it up. We don't want to encourage envy. It's a horrible thing. But also what you were expressing so importantly is on the basis of all of what we're talking about is your gratitude. You should be grateful you have what we have, that we have a good cell phone, that we have a good home, that we have intelligence, nice clothing. So we have to start by being grateful we didn't even give ourselves, grateful to God for what we've been given. So we're talking about humility and gratitude here. And certainly, I mean, these are all basic things that we have to really be aware of. Just everybody, remember how we've talked that we're always having a conversation with ourselves. I just watched myself this morning getting dressed, having a conversation with myself, you know, and you can see it and watch it and you can fix it up. If you realize I had a bad intention there, Ghazali says, just change your intention. Yuck, what a stupid intention. I'm trying to show off and impress someone. Whoops, I'm going to change that around. So you're in control here. And the purpose of our religions and faith is the opportunity to do this process. Who else would like to speak?
I have something to say.
Okay.
So a couple of things. One was, it just reminded me what you were saying, Sister Aisha, about the dua that you say when you look in the mirror. It's so beautiful because the dua basically says, the gist of the dua is that you look in the mirror and you thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for how beautiful you are externally, but then you ask him to make your internal state as beautiful. And I always think that's so amazing because nowadays, you know, we're trying to teach the children to do a lot of positive affirmation about themselves so that they feel confident and they feel, you know, empowered, especially for young girls. But what we're missing is this quality which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in this dua, which is that, you know, be happy and be grateful for all the things Allah's given you, but remember your internal state is what you're working on. So I think that also correlates to the fact that sometimes when we try not to be arrogant, we think that we shouldn't have all these nice things. But actually, alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that you should, if you've been given blessings, you should show your blessings. But what that means is that you can wear nice things and you can have nice things, but it's like exactly as you said, it's your attitude. It's your attitude to how you wear those things. And, you know, that's really important, I think.
What you've just said is Medina and Bilal made a video when they were very little. It had to do from the book of Wudu, where this is very interesting. They built a castle out of cardboard, right? And they decorated it and they put gold on it and beautiful things. And then they threw garbage inside, right? And then they dressed up as a king and queen and came to the castle and they said, oh, how beautiful. Oh, but it's got garbage inside. And the meaning of this story, I'm sure they could tell you, is when you do, if Allah came to you and just saw that the outside looked beautiful, just what you said, when you look in the mirror, right? Yet inside was full of garbage. Would you like the king who comes to visit your home to discover the inside is full of garbage? No, the inside is what really matters. Yeah. Bilal and Medina, do you remember making that movie? Are they there somewhere?
Yes, we remember.
You remember? Yeah, it was fun, wasn't it?
I want to tell you a story.
Go ahead.
Oh, I actually, sorry to continue, but I just wanted to tell us something about what Mariam did 2 days ago. She's shy, but it really was, you know, really good for me. So we have a lovely helper at home, and she's very kindly right now making our iftar for us, and this is why we can sit here and then just go straight to our iftar. And Mariam has been helping her every day with the iftar and then cleaning up afterwards. And so she came to me on the first day and she said, Mummy, you know, I feel really good that I helped out. And I said, mashallah, that's great. And then the second day she came and she said, oh, Mum, I feel so good that I helped out again today. And I said, that's fantastic. And then on the third day she came to me and she said, Mummy, I feel so good that I helped out, but I realize that tomorrow I have to not tell anyone.
Look at that, everybody. You see? Yeah, that's it. That is the biggest trick in the world, to do good and not tell anybody. not to take credit from people and brag, but to leave it with the law. We're talking about, everybody, the hardest thing in the world to do. And it's fantastic that she saw that. Look at that.
So I thought that, I always think that the way that, you know, it's so special, that because the way you can really tell, you know, whether the arrogance is in your heart or whether you have that seed there, is if you can do a secret good deed.
Wow. Oh my goodness. All right, everybody out there, would any one of you like to talk about a secret good deed you could do? This is brilliant. Thank you very much, Lubna. Anyone out there can think of something? Yes. Yes.
The Yavas family has something to say.
Yes, please go ahead.
Can I speak?
Yes.
Something good you can do is by you can give donations but not tell anyone.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. That's very true. That's in the book of Zakat, you know, to give so nobody sees you doing it and not tell anybody, you know. That's wonderful. And your sister, what about you? Can you say something?
Something you can do and not tell anybody is maybe like help like others, like by cleaning their rooms or just like cleaning and not just tell anybody or brag about it. Like I helped them, I did that.
Yeah, should be something.
That's a great idea. That's other of you out there. What else could you all do and not tell anybody about it?
Tabe, Amber, and Sarah.
Okay.
Okay, so one of the things you can do when nobody's looking, if it's like raining outside and there's an old lady who's walking through the rain without an umbrella, you can give her your like your umbrella so she doesn't get wet from the rain.
Could I go? Have to be an old lady.
Yes, continue.
If anybody's like feeling down, you could like smile, and that will make them like happy. Like smiling is like a type of zakah.
That's right. Smiling is one of the forms of charity. And you all know, kids, it's so easy for you all to be moody and go around with a moody face over something that you didn't get your way. Is that being generous? No, no, that's really being mean, is to have a moody face, you know? So a smiling face brings joy to everyone, you know? That's something you all can do, everybody, right? That's a great gift to everybody.
Right, Amber, Sarah, then Medina. Don't worry, Bilal, I can see you, and Medina.
And then we'll finish these three, and then we're going to go on to the fasting, the inner fast. All right. These, okay, you three, it was very important talking about humility and generosity. These are all, and gratitude. These are all key parts of our being and our golden heart. Okay, the three people, everyone. Amber, who is going next?
Amber, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes. We can't see you though.
Okay.
Good.
Well, I actually wanted to talk about what we were talking about previously.
Good.
About
like
being
that.
modest. It's slightly off topic, but something that I try and do is that if I'm with people and I know that they actually have less than I do and they're less fortunate than I am, then I will try and conceal parts of just my general life that may seem normal to me but will not be normal to them. So I don't make them feel bad, or I don't want to show that I'm, I don't want to be rubbing it in their face. I just kind of want to keep that concealed and hidden.
That's wonderful.
So they feel that, we're all equal and no one's better than anyone or anything like that, because
oh, that's so beautiful.
that's where friendships, just
we
go
are
wrong.
all equal souls, we're all nobody, trying, pretending to be somebody when we're really just golden hearts. That's beautiful that you said that. Thank you, Amber. And your brother, would you like to throw in an idea today?
So sometimes at school, people need like help with a certain question, so we kind of like exchange answers. And some people don't. Some people do well in tests, and some people don't for certain reasons. And you shouldn't really like put in their face if they did badly. Just and when you help people, don't tell other people, "Oh, look, I'm helping them. What are you doing?"
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Basically, just be modest all the time in school.
Modest is a form of humility. Modesty. Excellent. Excellent. All right. We have two more people.
Sarah and then Medina.
Well, actually, I wanted to say, so my mum, she has 4 siblings, and so does my dad. So I live in quite a big family. So whenever it's Eid, we often go to Manchester, and lots of people come and stay at the same house, and so everybody and most of the children were quite bored, and they were all feeling, like they didn't know what to do, and they were all like doing their own thing. However, so there was one girl who was really bored, and she was feeling really sad and left out. So because there was nothing she found she could do. So an older girl, what she did is she found everybody, and she basically made us come together and we came together, and like we did this big activity where we made this lovely like tent, which we actually slept in that night. But it was really fun because the moment she suggested it, everybody was like, yeah, we want to do it, because the younger people were feeling quite left out, and then the older people, they weren't actually enjoying what they were doing because they weren't actually doing it as a team, and it wasn't like fun without everyone doing it together. So I thought it was really nice how she, even though she didn't end up doing it, she thought she could see how sad some of these the younger children were. So I thought it was really kind what she did.
That's beautiful. She was aware they were reaching out in some way, and she had a solution for that. Isn't that beautiful? How generous of her, how thoughtful and merciful. Oh, that's wonderful. And Medina, are you the last one before we change topics? Where is Medina?
So, something that my friends do, which is really nice, is, well, I have this friend, and she's really smart for some reason. And she always helps people, like, because she always finishes math a little early. She helps people with problems. And she's really nice.
That's wonderful. Look at that generosity.
Oh, and sometimes my friend, she got these shoes where you have to tie them, and when we go out for recess, sometimes her shoes get untied, and I just hold the door for her and wait till she's finished.
You see, that's so kind and so humble to stand there and open the door and care for someone like that. Well, that's a wonderful contribution. Really great. All right, so now we've talked about zakat and being humble and generous and merciful. What is the arrow about? All right, and so now we're going to talk about the actual fast. Now, everybody here, many of you are too young to fast, right? Or some of you are just beginning to fast. But did you know that there are 3 kinds of fasting? There's one which is what everybody does. They give up drinking and eating during the month, and all kinds of things like that, but not everything. The children can't actually do this. But then next, there's another level, and this is a special kind of fasting. And this is also very important, is you give up doing the wrong things with your hands and your feet and your mouth and your ears and your eyes. So you all remember that when you do wudu, As you're washing your hands, you ask Allah, help me to do the right thing. I'm sorry for what I did. When you're rinsing out your mouth, you're saying, oh, I'm sorry that I said the wrong thing, and inspire me to say beautiful things. And oh, I'm sorry, I listened to her. I was overhearing somebody. I was listening, I was spying. Help me to listen to beautiful things. And the same with my feet. May they take me to beautiful places. The same thing, everybody, and this applies to the parents. This is what is also going on in the fast. If you just fast from food and water and all the rest of it, that's just the outward fast, but it's important and it's hard to do. But think of the inward fast. If you actually gave up talking bad things, maybe with your eyes, instead of watching videos all day long, you looked in nature or looked at beautiful books. Maybe you didn't listen to podcasts. Maybe you listened to Quran, maybe other things. So now we're going to go around and everybody is going to talk about ways that they can do the real special inner fast. Because, oh yes, okay, Sarah, we'll start with you.
Well, I was actually going to say that when I was reading the book, one of the chapters was actually like when there's like another type of fast, and it's actually, and when you do it, it keeps your heart really nice and clean. And the good thing is, if you don't have a clean heart, then it will like spread to like your mouth, causing you to like say the wrong things, and your ears, so that you start listening to the things which you could be doing better things. So I was just going to say that about what you were saying.
Well, that's a great analysis, that it'll spread all over. I mean, that's amazing. But of course, if you give up those things with the eyes, the ears, the hands, it'll go back to the heart. I think that's brilliant. Let's everybody give an example of some ways they can do this special fast during Ramadan. And imagine if you were able to practice this the whole month. Imagine how that would help you in your life, and start to this is a real chance to focus on it, what I'm saying. Yes, Lubna, will you call on people?
Yeah, so we have 4 people in a queue. We have Danielle, we have Zach and Yusuf, we have the Yavas family, and we have Sarah and Farhana.
Right.
So we can start with Danielle.
Danielle, let's see you.
Unfortunately, his camera's not working, but he can speak.
Okay, Danielle,
Yeah, I
we
can.
listen to you. All right, what can you do? Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to say that you can actually try to actually take time off your normal daily life to actually taking in what things that Allah has said or hadiths actually mean, because sometimes if you actually take time to think about important things in life, you can actually find happiness, I guess.
Wow.
And
yes.
Another thing is, when we're doing these types of fasting, like fasting with your mouth, ears, and body, etc., we should probably be trying to make this a habit in normal daily life.
Absolutely.
I don't really think doing this should be something that's temporary. I think it should be something that we spread out through the entire year, because I feel like people use Ramadan as an excuse to do good things, although people should be doing that anyway. And I feel like that's really important.
I think Daniel has given the supreme sum up of what we're talking about. Nothing we're talking about is a practice we just do every so often or at a time of year. The whole point is to start to change our habits so we react differently to things. We react from our highest self, not from our lower self. Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you, Danielle. Next.
Zach and Yusuf.
Assalamualaikum. So, just like Danny, I believe that you should fast with your ears, eyes, and mouth. Try not to tell lies and help out other people. And also, it's not an excuse to eat samosas at like iftar and have fun. Like you should. That is
Eid is for samosas. So your Ramadan is about fasting, and any normal guy who wouldn't have heard of fasting, who's only seen some people fast, they just think it's about wearing weird gowns and eating samosas in the evening, because like you don't even know. They just think it's, but that's entirely wrong, because it's not a month of eating, it's a month of fasting. And so you've got to take it seriously, and it's a time for training.
It's
like,
also the month of Quran, so it's
rather
like
than
special
samosas.
month.
Samosas doesn't have a special month.
It's true. It's a month of Quran. It's when the Quran was revealed, right? It came down, right? Yeah.
It's a special month, and Sarah just written Shaitan is locked up. It's not like he is actually locked up. He can still be there. It's just during Ramadan you have to work extra hard to push your low nafs down and get your better nafs up. When God says that, it doesn't mean that all the jinn and the bad deeds, the people who make you bad deeds like Shaitan, are locked up, like you're not going to do a bad deed. And so you're like, oh, I can do whatever I want because it won't be counted as a bad deed. Or like people say, oh, you're going to go to Jannah if you die in Ramadan. That doesn't mean you jump off the building and suicide because you think you're going to go to heaven. It means that it's a month for training, so it means you've got to try extra hard to be good.
That's wonderful. That's beautiful. Yeah. And thank you about the Quran, because one can listen to that and read that. All right, they're gone off the screen. Lubna,
So,
call on someone else.
Your Baz family. I don't know your names. I'm so sorry.
The Abbas family.
Okay. Okay, so like the right way of fasting is like not having any bad thoughts or doing any bad thoughts, or like not thinking bad about others. Gossiping. Or gossiping, yeah.
Yeah, that would break the fast. I'm sure you all noticed there was a hadith in the story where the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. I mean, this was pretty scary, everybody. The Prophet, some lady or an old lady came to him during Ramadan and said, we're old and tired and may we break the fast. And he gave them a big bowl and he said, throw up in the bowl. And to the horror of the onlookers, they threw up pieces of flesh and blood. And the Prophet said, but you already broke your fast by backbiting, because you remember the Quran says that when you backbite and talk behind us, he said to the women, you already broke your fast. So all of you out there who are just fasting from food and drink, right? If you were gossiping, if you were angry, if you were arguing, you know what you're doing to your fast? What are you doing to it, everybody? You're breaking it.
Breaking.
Yeah, you're breaking it. So this is no joke what we're talking about today. All right, everyone keep raising their hands and talking about.
Laura, and then we have Bilal and Medina.
All right. Zara?
So basically I think it's good that we're fasting from like hearing bad things and seeing bad things. And also something that relates to that fast is because I've been fasting from watching, and it's given me more time to read books, and read Quran, get better in my studying. And because I've been doing this, my mum bought me these really cool books, like this one that it's about some kids and their Ramadan story. Also, if you press these, it just it does like du'as and things that relate to the book. And also she got me a book on to teach me how to pray, because I don't really know how to pray, and I would really like to learn for Ramadan, and it will kind of be my Eid present to Mom.
How generous. Look at her generosity. Look at that. Oh, how wonderful. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's really exciting. And you can use the children's book of prayer, you know, in the Ghazali series to help her get her prayer right from the beginning. That'll be wonderful. Yeah, it'll be really fun for you. Wonderful. Okay, others.
So we have Bilal and Medina, and then Sister Aisha, myself, and Mariam. It's actually our iftar time in 3 minutes.
Yes.
So we'll do Bilal and Medina, and then we'll have to say goodbye, but you can carry on, inshallah.
All right. All right. Okay.
Carry on,
Bilal.
Bilal and Medina.
Yes. What can you do not to do better things with your hands and feet and ears and mouth and eyes? Bilal and Medina. What can you do?
So if you're a child during Ramadan, you should, if you don't already, you should try to pray at least once every day.
Very good.
Probably
Very good.
more than once.
Very
And you should also try to stay off the screen.
Very good. For your
and
eyes.
stay outside. And in my opinion, you probably shouldn't spend like a lot of money during Ramadan either. And on the last 10 days of Ramadan, like the possible days that the Quran was revealed to the Prophet, you should do extra prayers and probably like stay up doing extra prayers.
Very
So,
good. Very good. Medina, would you like to add something to that?
So for children, since they can't eat, since they can't fast, they could like fast from being mean, like you said, and they should be kind.
Very good.
and,
Very good. That's
try not to be mean.
very good. Now, Lubna, we're going back to Lubna just before she leaves us for her iftar.
Yes.
So what did you and you two gain from today? What direction do you take from what we've talked about? By the way, we're not getting together until 3 days before the Eid. So next week, 2 weeks from today, I want everyone to report. I want you to write up some of the things how you're doing with this real inner fast, all right? And the zakat. Just write a few things on a piece of paper, and so that you're observing yourself. And if you know between now and the next 2 weeks, you're going to be assessing yourself, it's like al-muhasabi, adding it up. You can tell us how you're doing with some of these things, where you failed and where you succeeded. All right, Lubna, I'm sorry I interrupted you. That was
No,
just-
not at all. I was just going to say that, Ramadan is such a special time because, as Zach and Yusuf were saying, we have less pull from shaitan at this time, which means that it's easier for us to correct ourselves. And also, we have the opportunity to correct, inshallah, our intentions and intend what we want to do for the rest of the year, like Danielle was saying. And especially because Laylatul Qadr is coming in the last 10 days. And then, inshallah, we know that our destiny will be written for the year. So this is the best time for us to renew our intentions, think about what we want to do for the year ahead, inshallah, and practice breaking all the bad habits.
Yeah, exactly. Just make it a reset button, reset our program, our whole, the code of life, the way we live. Oh, there they go.
That's so cute. Okay.
Assalamu
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Assalamu
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, that's wonderful. So let's say, Khaldun, what would you like to say about today?
He had to go for work.
Oh, he's gone for work. Oh,
yeah,
my goodness.
he left about 20 minutes ago. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness. Well, good for him going out for work.
Yeah.
And what about Zoya? What would you like to say?
I guess helping around the house more. So, for example, helping with iftar or doing the laundry or doing the dishes, any of that would, that's like helping around the house, basically.
Yes.
That will help you.
That's great. In secret, hopefully. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Oh, that's wonderful. And let's see. Who else would like to contribute before we close? Tayyib, what about Tayyib?
Can you say the question again?
The question is, what can you start doing today, right? What are some things you could do today to practice the humility, the generosity, and the very aspects of the fast? Not speaking badly, not listening to bad things, not looking, not listening. What are some things you could do today? You two boys who are having so much fun. Are you brothers?
Yeah.
Okay, what could you two brothers do to do some of the things we're talking about?
We could pray like 5 times a day.
And
Very good.
We can be nice to each other.
Yeah, you can be nice to each other. That's very nice. Anything else? How can you fast? How can you fast better with your eyes? What could you do better with your eyes than than normally?
I think Sarah has a contribution as well, unless Tayyip's still speaking. Sorry.
They're finished. All right, Sarah. Okay.
Well, I actually wanted to say, sometimes when you can't do like the prayers, it's actually good to sometimes there's the special prayer. So sometimes on like movie night, or just like if it's someone's birthday, or just there's some event which has caused you to stay up quite late, you might as well I just think with the time you have, you might as well do the special prayer and get the good rewards and bless other people as well.
That's wonderful. Yes, instead of just watching movies, you could do something different. Yeah, because we can watch movies all year long. I mean, this is a real opportunity to change some of our habits.
Yeah.
Any mothers, any older people like to contribute? Farhana, what would you like to say?
I think that as like whenever I was young, the most difficult thing was stopping eating and drinking. But as you get older, you do start to really put the emphasis, as you're saying, on the internal fast, on like sort of changing your behavior, being more forgiving to people, being more and it is actually it's a lot harder than the not eating and drinking, which is what you find out over time. So yeah, that is what your fast becomes more focused on as you get older.
Well, that's what we're getting here together about. And
Yeah.
Halak has raised his hand. Halak, where are you?
Maybe like fasting.
Can we see you? We don't even see you.
I'm
No, I'm checking what day is it on the
maybe like cursing or like not cursing while fasting. Maybe I can like
Oh,
contribute
yeah.
to better.
So
Yeah.
that would be the fast of the mouth you're talking about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
very, very good point. Yeah. Very good point. To, the mouth that says the prayers and reads Quran, imagine using that mouth, to say things that are thoughtless or not good, or that's a very good point, Halak. Yes. Yes. Anyone else wish to continue? Well, if you have nothing more to say, we have a plan, right? So what we're going to meet together in 2 weeks from today. And please, every one of you, make all the ways we're going to fast, from the ears, the mouth, the eyes, the feet, and the hands. I want you each to list those and give 2 examples of how you've been able to use those in your life. That's one assignment. And the other is to talk about 3 times you were humble, right? 3 times you were grateful, 3 times you were very generous, and all of it ties together, because with the humility, you don't want to brag about it. So if everyone will do those, then I'd like you to read those out next time. So you may have many examples of how much you've done, and put as many as you like. We're not in a rush. There's no point in our studying all these wonderful practices to help us be who we really are if we don't actually use them? What's the point of getting together and talking about it and reading stories if it doesn't change the very lives we lead? Well, I guess that's it, right? So I'm going to go for my other class, which starts in 4 minutes. So anyway, I've loved being with you all today. You know, this is great. Anyone like to say any concluding comments?
Just to say thank you so much, Sister Aisha, and thank you so much for sort of making us all really focus on what's important in Ramadan, and also for these amazing translations. And I will, inshallah, use the Salah book for to teach Zara.
Oh yeah, she'll love it. She'll love it. That'll be great. Well, that's the way to love your prayer, to be present in it, not just, there was some little boy who told me he was able to get his wudu down to 30 seconds, you know, very fast. And people run to their prayer, blah, 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 just the Fatiha. And so, of course, they're missing all the wonderful moments to be present in each ayah, to experience when you say Allahu Akbar, being present to Allah. You're going to have so much fun, my dear Zahra, when you start your prayers. And your mummy's going to show you how to be present in your prayers and not just running along. Remember, Imam al-Ghazali said, if you have a problem, any of us, could you go with your problem to the president of the United States or England or the head of a company and say, could you listen to my problems? They would not even let you in the door. But Allah is always waiting to hear your problems. He wants to hear them. And what's the door? Just prayer. You make wudu, which is a transition. One of the reasons we do wudu is you wouldn't be, for example, let's say talking about a party last night or a movie you saw, and then you turn and immediately face Allah. You have to have a transition. So by washing your hands and moving from just the world and the dunya to standing before Allah, you wouldn't go to see a king. You know, you're having a big silly thing and then you stand before the king. You would dress correctly, you would be ready. So this is going to be lots of fun for you, doing your wudu and your prayer correctly. And your mummy is going to have so much fun teaching you. So I love you all.
Thank you so much.
It's great fun. Thank you. And it's helping me so much to talk about these things.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sister. Thank you, sister.
Good luck with your fast, okay?
Thank you.
Good luck with your real fast.
Happy Ramadan.
Thank you. Happy Ramadan. A blessed Ramadan. Blessed, blessed. Thank you all very much.